Join us for a tour of the new Nissan Sentra. Let's go! So the Sentra is now a little bit wider and also a little bit flatter, so it looks sportier, especially here in the so-called SR trim. And then there's daytime running light together with new LED headlights. You know, that looks quite fresh and, as I said, quite sporty, especially then here with the black accentuations, with this new stronger V-form grille, here then also with those honeycomb structures. Pretty spectacular in this golden orange color. We call it that way maybe. Then also with a contrast ring roof you can get there, also black mirror caps, and those are 18-inch wheels, so also quite big for this car, and they make together this sporty look in this SR trim. What else is interesting technology-wise, there's now an independent rear suspension that's supposed to increase the comfort while driving. We'll be really looking forward to drive that car one day also on the US roads. Classic sedan shape in the rear, but here then with an additional wing, SR lettering right there, and a small honeycomb structure styling right here. Before we go to this actually quite nice exhaust here, it's not too big engine, but it looks quite powerful already from rear end with a modern signature here for the lights. Engine choice actually quite easy with this car. We're not allowed to open the hood here today, but I can tell you more about the engine. So they go from a 1.8 liter up to a 2 liter engine now, petrol engine. So a little bit more displacement. You know, there's no replacement for displacement. And even in environmental sense, downsizing doesn't always make sense. Rather a little bit more displacement, but maybe less horsepower tune, for example. But in this case also more horsepower, now at 150 horsepower. And you drive with an automatic transmission, which will be a CVT. They also upgrade the assistance system, so this Nissan 360 safety shield comes from standard equipment now. That means the autonomous emergency brake for the front is standard. The blind spot monitor here, side mirrors, is also standard. Also the rear cross-traffic alert, so you know the car automatically stops when you miss something when going reverse. Also standard rear view camera, I mean has to be standard, at least in the US anyway, because that's mandatory. This is a new Nissan steering wheel design from the modern car lineup. They also introduced it with some recent facelifts and so on. And then those seats, they're also a little bit sportier, also with then, you know, those orange contrast stitches. And I was told earlier by a product manager that those ones would be the leatherette seats here in the SR trim. And indeed, it's really amazing. This one here is such a high-grade leatherette, so it feels very soft just from the surface. No one could tell the difference if it's now like, you know, animal based or not. So a high grade one, really premium style. I can just recommend it. So and again, if you wouldn't know it, I really had to check twice that they are really, you know, telling me the truth. So this is also one of the examples that you can get really cool, sustainable and animal friendly high grade leatherettes. And you can also get with, you know, with a basic fabric trim, that's also possible for the animal-free option. So then, electric seat control here, manual for the steering column. And I mean, this is not a super expensive car. Therefore, you also see and feel some things which are, let's say, rather basic. But they definitely stepped up the game here already, and seating position is actually quite comfy. It's a normal low sedan seating position. I'm 1m86 or 6'1". Interior overview, quite stylish. You have this V-form here also in the interior, then some soft touch and then round turbine vents style. So this creates a little bit sportier atmosphere here. The climate unit here with a nice clicking sound. So you get this new 7-inch touchscreen. Here you can see with a cable connection for the CarPlay. Android Auto is also possible if you are, going with that. So see here, the CarPlay integration is quite well done. And now to the rear seats. Here we go. And when I'm driving as a tall driver, I exactly fit behind the seat. Just put a hand in front of my legs, and headroom wise, although it looks quite sporty from the exterior, it works quite well, so I can also put a hand over my head. So, what about the trunk area? Yeah, I mean, this sounds a little bit weird when you open the trunk. A little bit loose also. And you see here, it's actually quite wide, but then there's a loading sill and hard to see here, but actually you have some decent space because not too much space is being wasted. Well, now the other interior trim, the SV, what I found quite nice is that we have a bright color here that looks quite fancy. Also with the seats, so interesting color choice. However, those ones are in the premium package here with the SV are the animal skin seats. And now to a conclusion for the day with the Nissan Sentra in this new platform generation. Very interesting because, I mean, it's a normal, let's say, everyday driving sedan and it's not too expensive. That's also what makes it so interesting because now with this new style, especially in the SR trim, makes it already look pretty attractive and pretty sporty. Also, again, with, with the daytime running light there in the front. Interesting also from the interior because we see a high-grade leatherette here. So you can combine, if you want a slick luxury surface, but still being animal friendly. Also a good example for that. Then the infotainment system upgrades and so on. And still some decent space also on the interior. I think it's good package and also fair that they actually put all the base assistance systems just from standard equipment. That's, I think, also good for the customer. So nice price-performance ratio you can still expect with this vehicle. I mean, here and there could be some, little bit better interior build quality, or when you open and close the rear doors, it sounds a little bit cheap and so on. But then you have to think about, okay, always think about the price, and then I think you can also live with one or two things. But definitely stepped up the game here with the new 2020 model. Looking forward to your feedback, and I really enjoyed doing this one here today for US spec car, pretty popular here also on the US market, and looking forward to do more of those also, and really would love to drive those ones here also on the streets of LA.